I started off on an antidepressant after my doctor had actually said that I had depression. That took me a long time to actually get around to having it for the first time because it actually scared me. I didn't want to actually admit that there might be something wrong. And so I suppose it took me about 3 to 4 months until I got to that point where I was on an antidepressant. At that time, I was feeling that my concentration had gone. I was at work some of this time and I would sit there in front of the typewriter, not being able to think, not being able to write anything. It's a very funny feeling. It's just something really which you can't explain.
Oh, thanks, just what's needed. Mm. I remember when David first got ill, it was quite difficult. I could see what was going on, I could see him talking negative about himself, and it was quite hard. And I felt I'm a carer, nobody else, everyone is caring for him, and I'm the person at home that knows what's going on in between the 3-month appointments or 1 monthly appointments.
I suppose it's easy now to kind of look back and think, well, what are the things which really caused me difficulties? When is it when I might go on a high, or when is it might go on a low? And I've come to realise that it is stress which causes me the greatest difficulty. And so work for me was a huge, great stress. And I didn't really want to finish work, but I had to. And really, that did help me a lot because it took out one of those stresses out of my life. There was this one time when I was on a high, and what I did, I went up to the airport with my wife and I rushed around from desk to desk saying, I want a flight, I want a flight. It was like I was in a very kind of high state, and I went around, wanted somewhere where I could take my wife, and eventually I managed to find somebody, one of the airline people, who booked us a seat, and off we whisked, off we went to Paris. And then in a very short space of time, about a month later, we then actually went off to Rome. This is really very, very unlike me, because I'm one of these people who's very, very careful with money and very, very cautious and plan trips a long time ahead. One time when I was off work and spending my time walking around the streets quite a lot, I recall going to a railway track, and it was a bridge which went over the railway track, and I stood on there and I looked down, and I looked down at the tracks, and it's as if they weren't there. I can't really describe how it was. It was just like, I suppose, a blankness. It was like unreality. I suppose at that point in time I got to the point where I was not really living in reality. I was living in my own little world, so it's like the tracks just weren't there. That's the only way I can really describe it. I did actually take an overdose. It was something which I was not really trying to do anything drastic. I wasn't trying to kill myself or anything like that. It was more that I really didn't know what to do. It was a feeling of hopelessness and helplessness. I just felt that I couldn't go into work, but I felt I should go into work. And then I thought, well, what on earth can I do? And I just took an overdose. Through my experiences, I've met some of the best people who I've ever met in my life. One of the people I met is Gary, and I met him at a consultation event where the local National Health Service were consulting about some changes they wanted to make to the mental health system in Haringey, and Gary was there, and that was the first time I met him. And yeah, he's a great guy. I'm sort of gradually getting to know him better.
With me, I don't know exactly what it was, but I think it's the hours and so on. When I was a security guard, and I was taking Pro Plus as well to keep me going. And I was lashing out, and I was really behaving weirdly. I was just going from security guard job to security guard job. It's been a slow process. I was in a state of shock for about 12, 14 years. But the last 5 or 6 years I've come back down to earth again, slowly. And in the last year or 2 years it's been noticeable that I've really started to recover quite fast.
Pretty bushy there. Oh, it's amazing.
And the flares.
Yeah. And all those funny patterns in the bottom of the trousers, round circles.
Those were the days, weren't they?
Oh, it's come back into style now.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that was about the first time that I suppose bipolar depression was the first time that I had it really, but I didn't recognise it as that at the time. And then it was around that time when I was really pressurised that I just couldn't be in a room with other people, so I used to have to go and be quiet by myself. So again, I suppose it's something I have to look back over time and say that there was just little signs over the years, only tiny little things, which when you add them all together, I have to say that it's kind of been potentially around for a long time. It was 5 years ago that I spent time at a day hospital, and that did help me quite a lot. I was only there for about a couple of months, but it was good. And after that time, I obviously needed something else to do, so I was encouraged to get involved in a day centre where I did some computer things, and then that really led me onto going to college. And every morning I would go down at about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I would stay there, I suppose, until about 1 o'clock, and I was learning a computer course which was involved me in Excel, Word and all those other sorts of things, PowerPoint. And I was actually the first one at that college to go through that particular system and get the qualification, which was good, and they made a big fuss about it, which actually helped me because it gave me confidence, helped my self-esteem, which was really good. I was really very, very sort of pleased to make these small steps. It was like, you know, one step after another step after another step.
You quite often find that the people who are carers are on antidepressants like I am, and the antidepressants do help. Also, my friends help me. I can talk to people. When I'm up in the church, people pray for me, and I can just pick up the phone and I can just talk to people, and they're there, they're listening, and they help.
Sometimes through the bad things which happen in your life, some good things can actually come out of them. And so I have to say that I am grateful, because I am really a better person now than I was before. That sounds actually crazy to say that, but I've had more of life's experiences, and I think I'm more understanding about people. Amazing grace, how sweet.